During World War I, many Americans feared that immigrants of different ethnic groups would have more loyalty towards their homelands than the U.S. For example, people worried about Germans being sympathetic towards their country of origin after their defeat.
The Russian Revolution occurred in 1917, which led to the rise of the Soviet Union and communist political views. This created a fear of Russian labor rebels and also followers of anarchism and communism.
A series of bombs were carried out by Galleanists, Italian followers of the anarchist Gallieni, at the end of April 1919, and about 30 letter bombs were mailed to businessmen, government officials, and law enforcement officials. These individuals were specifically anti-communist supporters. Along with the bombs, there were also flyers attached declaring war on the U.S. capitalists. On June 2nd, many more larger bombs were sent by the Galleanists to 8 different American citizens. During this wave of bombings, a bomb was sent to Attorney General Mitchell Palmer and damaged his home. This sparked even more fear since it occurred in the U.S. Capitol, Washington, D.C.
Palmer reacted to this by saying that all evidence showed that radicals would eventually rise up and destroy the government. Then he requested to raise his budget by $500,000, from $1,500,000 to $2 million, in order to increase and support his investigations on the radicals, and he received a raise of $100,000 for anti-communist activities.
On November 7th, in 1919, U.S. authorities conducted their first raid of the Union of Russian Workers headquarters in New York City. They arrested over 200 people in this raid. On November 25th, 1919, once again, the Union of Russian Workers in New York City was raided. In this raid, a bomb factory was discovered between a false wall. This confirmed suspicions of this union planning a revolution.
After this discovery, Palmer had the idea that the only way to fix this issue would be to deport all immigrants. On December 21st of 1919, 249 suspected radicals were put onto the USS Beaufort and deported to Russia. Then, on January 2nd of 1920, between 4,000 and 10,000 people were arrested in over 30 different cities. Many more arrests occurred without having warrants or accurate and well-supported suspicions. Innocent people were arrested for just being foreign.
After the January raids, Palmer said that he considered the raids a success, but far from done, claiming that over 300,000 dangerous communists remained in the U.S. One of the problems was that the U.S. began to lack facilities to hold all of the people that they were arresting.
Secretary of Labor Louis Post did not fear radical aliens and reversed over 70% of the 1,600 deportation warrants. People began challenging the constitutionality of Palmer's actions, like the National Civil Liberties Bureau, who changed a lot of the public's opinions. People changing Palmer's ideas led to the end of the Red Scare and the Palmer raids.
Following this era, many arrested suspected radicals were discharged. Cases of arrested radicals being discharged were common following the end of Palmer's reign. Looking back, the amount of arrests and raids seems slightly unconstitutional considering the evidence the U.S. authorities had that the individuals were truly radicals. Overall, the Palmer raids illustrated continuity in the U.S. due to the fact that the Americans attempted to rid their country of radicalists and anarchists. They wanted to avoid change by keeping the immigrants and communists out of the country.
These raids were an attempt to continue living life the same way the Americans had been. For example, the businessmen and politicians wanted to keep their jobs and avoid a political revolution. At this time, it was obvious that the U.S. was not willing to risk their lives changing because of potential revolutionists.